Alright guys, your boy is back with another deck to tell you guys how to play it. I've got gameplay this time, and I've got an absolute banger of a deck list for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about Water Control, and this has been a deck that I've been having a lot of fun playing over the last couple of days, and it's actually like a really strong deck. If you're just tired of getting Nibiru'd, if you're tired of playing under Max C, this deck is absolutely just amazing to play with. It's kind of got the same thing that like Flunder's got, where they really don't special summon any monsters, so they don't really care about stuff like Max C, and you're really only going to be summoning like a max of maybe 3 guys a turn, right? So like you never get caught by Nibiru, and really the only thing that actually kind of destroys your end board is like exactly a bunch of board breakers, like specifically things like Kaijus, things like Lava Golem, things like opening like Duster plus Raigeki plus like Lightning Storm, right? Like stuff like that can really kind of break your board. But even then, if you've kind of got the nuts with like C Stealth Attack, you're going to be able to protect your board. So we're going to talk about that in today's video. But if you guys enjoy these deck list videos and you guys enjoy me like kind of hitting you guys with some tutorials on how to play decks, make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and who knows when I'll upload again, probably in a couple of days. But basically, this water control deck is built all around Kairyushin. Kairyushin is like an insanely powerful boss monster. Not only does it search you like any Umi or like Kairyushin related spell trap, but it also says that each player can only control one face-up non-water monster. So let's say you're playing against something like Despia. They normal summon a Luber, and now they cannot control any other monsters. And because Kairyushin is actually kind of big, it's not really going to be all that likely that they're just going to be able to like crash into it and actually take it out. Unlike something like, say, Flunder's Barrier Statue or something along those lines. This guy is actually attached to quite a beefy body. Now, you do see that it's a level 5, and I said that we're going to be doing a lot of normal summoning. So how are we going to actually get this guy on the board? Well, Legendary Ocean over here actually reduces all water monsters level by 1, meaning that if we have a Legendary Ocean, we're able to just normal summon Kairyushin without tributing. And one of the few ways we also special summon in the deck is with Electric Jellyfish. Electric Jellyfish will let us basically pitch an Umi from our hand, deck, or face up on the field to special summon a water monster in hand. So let's say that we open like Jellyfish plus Kairyushin, or we have Fish Sonar to summon or to search our Kairyushin. We can actually use this guy to special summon Kairyushin if we don't have a way to actually get into a Legendary Ocean. And then as you'll see in some of the gameplay, once you can actually get Kairyushin on the board, then you can use him to search a Legendary Ocean, right? So there's actually ways that even if you don't open the field spell, you're still able to get your guy on the board. So let's just kind of go by card and like kind of look at each and every one of these cards. So Gaga Gigo is in here for Fish Sonar. I'll talk about that in just a second, but obviously we're playing the standard, like, we got double Max C, double Ash. You could play these at triple if you want, but really, like, this is kind of the ratio that I found I really enjoyed, right? You can maybe cut things like Raigeki and Duster to like add an extra copy of each of those, but really, those are only there if you happen to go second. So they're not super important, because Kairyushin, if you summon it into an established board, is going to make them like get rid of all of their water monsters, or their non-water monsters, basically. Kind of functions like Gozen Match or something along those lines. Really powerful. Warrior of Atlantis is basically just a way to once per turn search a Legendary Ocean. So this is effectively 3 extra copies. Jellyfish over here is a negate that also gets bigger as it negates things. Now keep in mind, it only negates monsters and spells, so it doesn't negate traps, but traps aren't as common right now, especially with things like Lich not running around. And I think people have kind of already phased out of playing water control. You might find some traps in like Despia or like Branded. Marincess has like their wave trap, but really you should be fine. I mean, there's also like Sword Soul Blackout, because Sword Soul is still like tier 2, I believe. But realistically, this guy should be enough to get the job done, combined with Kairyushin. And again, like I mentioned earlier, if you're able to send a card that just mentions Umi, or a Legendary Ocean, actually, you send that from the deck, hand, or face up on the field, you could special summon your Kairyushin. Already kind of went over this guy. He's kind of like the main star of the deck. We do run a singular Gamma Seal, because the one thing that this deck actually does struggle with is taking out like large, like unaffected bunguses, right? Like something like a Boral End Dragon. Like I had a game against Dragon Link, and there was actually no way for me to really out Boral End. It can't be targeted, and it can't be destroyed by card effects, and none of my monsters are going to be able to get big enough in time to actually take that thing out, because Jellyfish gets bigger every time it negates something, but it's only 600 at a time, and that's not going to catch up to the 3,500 or even like 3K that a lot of these just really big guys can get to. So we do run a Gamma Seal, just, you know, hoping that if we do encounter some like big bungus that we can out, we can at least try to hit it with a Kaiju. We obviously run Nib as well. Nib's just kind of good right now. I run Raigeki and Feather Duster. I kind of just am a firm believer in this like best of one format for Master, that everybody should just splash these into their decks. That way you're not losing to like random floodgates, or, you know, just having Raigeki as like a board wipe is just really nice. You don't have to do it. It's just kind of like a personal tech that I run in every deck, and I've been enjoying. Terraforming does, again, just represent another copy of a Legendary Ocean. Extravagance used to be Duality, but I was actually getting a little frustrated with the fact that Duality doesn't let us special summon. Even though we get to dig for one specific card that might get us out of a situation, it does conflict with things like Fish Sonar and Jellyfish over here. And my thoughts was, well, Extravagance clashes with Prosperity, but that's only clashing with that card. So like it's only clashing with one other card in our deck, whereas Duality is clashing with like 7 other cards in our deck. It's clashing with Gagagigo because he gets summoned off of Fish Sonar, and it's contrasting with these 3 copies of Fish Sonar, these 3 copies of Jellyfish. So it just seemed more smart to go ahead and run Extravagance, especially because we don't go into the extra deck at all. Like the only things we might make is maybe the random Bahamut Shark sometimes. Like maybe we'll make a Kragan, but like it's very unlikely. Your main deck is going to be able to carry you to victory. So like Extrav just also kind of made sense because you can just throw whatever you want in here. Realistically, you can just throw a bunch of N and R random gibberish cards. You literally just do not care. And so this effectively just can kind of get you out of a jam, because a lot of the stuff that you have, you kind of want 2 cards specifically. There's not like a 1 card most of the time that can get you out of a sticky bind. So Extrav is really good for that. Fury of Kairyu not only protects your water monsters in the grave, but it also searches you Torrential Tribute, which is extremely strong. You can also combine this with Torrential Tribute, so instead of popping your monsters, you can banish your Fury of Kairyu to protect, like, you know, your actual Kairyu, your main guy, and still basically use this as a board wipe on your opponent. Prosby is Prosby. It's just really good to be able to dig 3 or 6 deep into your deck for, you know, maybe you're missing a Kairyu, maybe you're missing, you know, you need like a Duster or something. Maybe you need to get like Sea Stealth Attack or something like that. It's just really good to dig 6 cards deep. Fish Sonar, this card, like, I didn't think it was going to be as broken as it was, but you'll see in some of the gameplay whenever I decide to start showing it. This thing is insane. So you basically use this to search Kairyu, and if you have Umi on the board, it special summons just a normal water monster from your deck, right? And so that is Gagagigo. You could run whatever you want. Like some people run like Terra King Salmon. I'm running Gagagigo because I just think it's funny, right? Like, am I sacrificing like a little bit of, you know, that smartness, right, for like the deck building? Maybe, but I just think it's really funny. You can run like literally any big water normal monster you can get, right? Super nice. Then a Legendary Ocean, already kind of went over that. Sea Stealth Attack too. This functions as Umi on the board, so it's kind of like extra copies of the field spell, and it also makes it to where your water monsters cannot be targeted by your opponent's non-water monsters effects. And you'll see down here, it actually lets you get back your like normal guys. So I don't know, if they like Raigeki Gagagigo over here, you can bring him back, or your Terra King Salmon, you can bring him back. It's just a very, very nice extra card to just have at one, because if you do draw into it, it's super nice. Rage of Kairyu, this is basically just, you just pop a card and then you lock that zone out. It's really, really nice. It's also a quick play that is searchable off of Kairyu over here, so you can kind of like set it at the end of your turn, and then if they like summon a monster, you can like force out a pop. You'll see that I use it in one of the games to force out DP into a Called By and pretty much just shut down that hero deck entirely. Called By is just generically really, really good. It's just very nice to be able to like stop hand traps that are coming your way, and it's also just nice that, like, I don't know, they normal summon in a Luber, and then they, like, you go to the turn 3 and they try to proc a Luber in grave, you can Called By it or something. I don't know, it's just good to have to be able to interact and negate a lot of your opponent's cards. Torrential Tribute is a board wipe. Imperm we run just because Imperm's just generally pretty good. And then Sea Stealth Attack too. You will win a lot of games because people refuse to read this card, right? They just will not read it. So if you have a water monster that's original level is 5 or higher, they attack into this, Sea Stealth just automatically pops their monster. There are so many people that will summon a guy, they'll summon some big bungus, and they'll try to attack into Kyryu Shin, or they'll try to attack into your Gagagigo over here, and their card will just get popped. People do not read this card, and you will win so many games off of it. I also mentioned earlier that this kind of protects your back row, right? Like I was like, well, you can lose to like Duster plus Storm and stuff like that. Like if they just really are like just board breaking your board. The good thing about this is that you can banish a water monster, and you'll see me do that a few times. And then after you banish that water monster, your actual, like your back row can't be destroyed, right? Which is really, really nice. Keep in mind though, they do need to be face up, but the most important thing is that this is going to be face up because it's a continuous, and your field spell is going to be face up, well, because it's a field spell, right? So it protects your main cards. It'll also protect things like Sea Stealth 2, just general good stuff like that. So yeah, this is pretty much the deck. I would like highly encourage a lot of people to play this. There's other techs that you could play, like there's the new Mega Fortress Whale, there is the Doom Kraken, but I wasn't finding a whole lot of success with those cards. They're nice if you have them. I would play them at 1 if you want to kind of practice around with them. If you're like, oh, I don't want to play like Duster Raigeki, or you know, maybe you're watching this in the future where a format where Maxi or Ash isn't good, you know, when a tier element comes in, right? If you're playing like one of those formats, you could just like swap them out for like that Mega Fortress Whale and the Kraken. Those are just kind of nice cards. I don't think they're very necessary, but they are good in the deck. But yeah, this is pretty much the deck list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you've played against this deck, you know, it's quite frustrating because Kyryu Shin is like one of the most oppressive floodgates. I think that you could just attach to a monster. It's like you can't summon anything, and I'm just gonna start searching a bunch of back row that's really annoying. It's like, it's almost in a way, and I don't want to like make anybody mad, but it's almost like, what if Eldritch was actually like a lot better, right? Like, because this guy's a floodgate on legs that also searches disruption. Like, it's just absolutely insane. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm thinking for the next like how to play guide, I think I'm going to do something like Drytron, because that is like the main deck that I play when I'm like in tournaments, or if I'm, you know, laddering or something. But if that doesn't sound appealing to you guys, let me know a different deck in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to like research it, test it out, and give you guys a list and kind of show you some gameplay of how the deck actually functions. But with all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.